Hello, welcome to Bible Guru Through the Bible, Genesis 10 and 11. One thing we didn't talk about last time is that Noah got falling down drunk. One of his sons shamed him in some way, and Noah cursed his son and his grandson. As God's people, we are not exactly exemplary. God was faithful, as we can see in the genealogies of Genesis 10 and 11. William Albright said concerning Genesis chapter 10, "It stands absolutely alone in Hebrew literature without a remote parallel even among the Greeks, where we find the closest approach to a distribution of peoples in genealogical framework. The Table of Nations remains an astonishingly accurate document." 70 descendants of Noah are listed, and the descendants of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Some of Shem's descendants are saved for chapter 11, so that the number is exactly 70. And almost certainly many names are omitted. There are the ones that are important to the story later, where the descendants of Peleg, the grandson of Shem, leading to Abraham, Israel's progenitor, and the children of Ham leading to Canaan, the majority of Israel's enemies. The number 70 represents completeness or maturity in the Bible. The 70 descendants of Noah represent all the nations of the world in Noah's time. From these all nations of the world came. So you may ask, if all of mankind came from one family, then why do so many different people groups look so different today? In reality, people all over the world are genetically almost exactly the same. The genealogy shows the family relationship and the geographical distribution, the Middle East, Eastern Europe, and all that. Genesis chapter 10, Cush was the father of Nimrod, who grew to be a mighty warrior on the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord, and that is why it said, like Nimrod, a mighty hunter before the Lord. The name Nimrod means roughly to rebel. Hunter can mean tyrant. He was the first empire builder, bent on world conquest like Alexander the Great or Genghis Khan or Napoleon or Hitler or others after him. As people moved eastward, they found the plain of Shinar and settled there. This move east, as Cain moved east of Eden and the Babylonians moved east, seems to be symbolic of moving away from God. They said to one another, "Come, let's make bricks and bake them thoroughly." And they said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city with a tower that reaches to the heavens so that we may make a name for ourselves. Otherwise we will be scattered over the face of the whole earth." The tower to heaven was not built to get up to a place where the gods lived. It's more likely that it was an astrological worship site, something like Stonehenge. Many people have seen this as the beginning of all religion and rebellion against God. The names for the tallest buildings in the world, in our time, are often associated with some kind of worldwide governance. The Kingdom Tower, the Burj Khalifa, which means Tower of the Caliphate, the World Financial Center, International Commerce Center, the One World Trade Center, and of course the first of the greatest tall buildings, the Empire State Building. Many have seen the Babylon as the beginning of the heart of those religious systems which are in rebellion against God. So what are the results of this rebellion? First, we see division. God scattered them from there over all the earth, and they stopped building the city. That's why it's called Babel, because there the Lord confused the language of the whole world. From there the Lord scattered them over the face of the whole earth. So the results of rebellion, division. And though the world seemed to be progressing, with Nimrod leading the way to one world governance, there is a more subtle decline reflected in the genealogies. The unity of family, peacefulness, and even length of life all seem to be on the decline in the generations as they pass. So, though humanity seemed to be progressing under Nimrod, it was taking several steps backward. The result of rebellion were division and decline. Yet, God maintained a faithful seed that would lead to the Messiah, and despite human rebellion, we can look at the church today. Do we see division? In places do we see decline? Seems to me that though we complain about the rebellion of the world against God, this should not surprise us. What is much more disturbing is that there's a rebellion of God's people, the church, against God, and the resulting division and decline. Yet he is still faithful today. As John Chisholm famously said, "Great is thy faithfulness, O God my Father. There's no shadow of turning with thee. Thou changest not. Thy compassions, they fail not. As thou hast been, thou forever wilt be." Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.